the Michael Libercci. How are you today, man?
Good, Dr. Clendenning. I'll never get over that. I'm doing awesome today. I
So,
am
all right,
super
man.
stoked to be here.
We want to kind of build off what we were talking about in our last episode. Like we could have just kept rolling on that, but our airtime is not as long as we would have liked it to been. So we want to.
Yet I'm wearing the same shirt.
You were in the same. Yeah, I know, right? And that's a big piece of this. So building on that, we were just talking about last time to bring you guys up to speed, kind of triggers. If you didn't listen to it, go back and listen to it. It's on demand. But we were talking about things that trigger you, what's really going on. And then we were talking about like the delayed result. Now, I don't want to confuse this with delayed gratification. We're talking about a delayed result of, I mean, and here they get mixed up. I'll give you an example of this. Like if you bake a cake,
Okay.
you have to mix it. You have to put it in a pan, turn the oven on, put it in the oven, and walk away. You can't throw it in the oven and shebang. All of a sudden, you have a cake, right? It takes 45 minutes. You got to take it out. You got to cool it. You got to, you can go watch Cake Boss. You can see how all that stuff gets done, or Great British Baking Show. That's a good one too, and see how you actually. It takes a long time to do it, so you don't get to like finish dinner and go, you know what? I think I want a piece of cake. You're not going to get the piece of cake right now. You can have that tomorrow night, kind of, by the time that gets done. I mean, you're going to have to delay the result. Now, is it gratifying to then eat the cake? Yes, it is. But what you're delaying is the result, not the gratification. You're asking for instant gratification of, I want cake right now, but your house may not be the restaurant. They may not have made that. I mean, that's just the way that goes. So that's the analogy I want to use for thinking about this delayed result. Now, one of the things we're working on, right, and we've been working on for a while, is our second book together. So Mike and I have been writing a second book, and the the meat and potatoes of the book has been done for a while, right? The meat and potatoes of it, and now we're in the grind part of it, which is you got to go page by page, and you got to go through and work on grammar and changing certain sentence structure, and maybe reword this a little bit here and there. And it's a very time consuming process in order to get there. Now, we could have got the meat and potatoes done, and we could have just thrown it out there. There you go, self-published, done. Not the point, right? That would have been satisfying gratification, not getting to that delayed result. So I mean, what we're building is something very, very cool, but it takes time to build it. So in your world, man, I know we're going down the road of sports, definitely baseball, and now it's football season, so I'm sure we're going to get some analogies out of that. Like talk about delayed results of what that really looks like, and just how do we set the expectations for it?
Well, I mean, I'll give it to you even from just a quick business standpoint, man. Like, so if you're like if you're just a little sloppy with things, let's say billing clients, right? You're an entrepreneur or solopreneur and you're a business provider and you're sloppy with billing clients, like a little late, a little this, a little that, or consistent. And you're working on session by session or something like that. You have no idea if you're not paying attention to it regularly, where and when your income's coming in and where and when to try to force or get or reschedule with somebody that's doing a polite cancellation and you've got another package turning around. You've got to be able to have a handle on things. And if you let that spin out of control for too long and you're kind of delayed on everything and everywhere, you're always going to be playing this catch up. You have no idea how to stay ahead. Once you set those controls, 2.5, 3 weeks later, you're finally realizing, holy smokes, I've really been sloppy at this, and I've really been lax at applying focus to this area, and really lax about the discipline it takes. And then you're hurting your future projections because instead of you're playing catch up versus keep. In the sports world, I keep trying to get on one of my kids who, wants to make a bigger team, but, keeps kind of going through these pitfalls of trying to find a place to play. And, I'm not seeing that extra gear I need to see because I'm not going to do it. I'll do if I'm asked to help. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna push. No, because it directly affects me. You can drive, right? It affects his mom. She doesn't, you know, we have 3 kids. We got to run them around everywhere, right? Like it's not. It's his decisions are decisions. But I'm not going to push him to go anywhere because it's easy for me. I'm not going to push him to go anywhere. I'm not going to push him to work out. I'm going to come to me with it. And I'm not seeing the drive. What does that mean? No idea. Now, on the other hand, one of my other kids, one of my youngest, he's a multi-sport kid. And kind of go, hey, buddy, maybe you should think about this before you. All I have to do is say that. For the most part, okay. 3 weeks ago, I said, well, maybe you should start running for football. Runs out the door, runs around the block, 100-degree heat. He's out there running the neighborhood, 10 years old, running around the neighborhood himself. It's like cul-de-sac area, closed neighborhood. It's not like he's running out. But all I had to do was mention it to him. Every day, he's out there once, sometimes twice a day, just pushing some flat. He didn't see the net result. He didn't see some of the things he asked me to help him with until day 1 of practice, where they were doing exactly what we were doing when he asked me to help him. He was bought in, happy to do it. Football's brutal, man. 2.5 hours a day, 4 days a week, and then games. It's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Heat, helmets, hitting, it's physical. It's hitting pads, it's conditioning. You're crawling up and down hills. I mean, youth football is pretty awesome. From a really youth football. Now he'll probably stop playing at a certain age because of the collisions and stuff. But for now, the conditioning is unmatched. 2.5 hours a day running around in the heat, and pads and gear and tights and everything else on. It's fantastic. Get out there, go fight, win. So you never actually see the work until a couple of weeks later, and you don't even know it sometimes. You don't know what you could have missed because the discipline you're not guaranteed anything. The reason why you install discipline, in my opinion, is so that you have a fail-safe. When things get chaotic, you said it in last episode. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to install to lose some weight and do all this other stuff. But you're not going to see the results of that discipline until 2 weeks later. But you have to install it. You have to control despite the chaos. So I have one more anecdote. This guy, I was listening to a podcast, and this guy was one of these longevity dudes. And he has this, he's got discipline principles all the time. The guy's going to live to 125 or whatever. And one of them is he doesn't want to get scanned in the airport. And the counter argument to that was, well, the radiation from the airplane is just the same as the scan. What do you care about going on the scan? He goes, well, I don't want to double down. I don't want to get radiation. I get on the plane and get radiation, right? So there's discipline, and you don't know. You just don't know. There's never a one-to-one correlation. I do know this, though. The people that install the most discipline at whatever it is they're doing, no matter how chaotic, no matter how crazy, they're always the people that can make the quicker adjustments versus the people that have to install the discipline, catch up, and then ride the train. So from a delayed result standpoint, that's just life.
Yeah, but, and we're so much of life. I agree. It is, but so much of it we are trained for that instant gratification. Like I will use this stupid thing as an example, right? Everybody's got their phone, which is at once upon a time, the computing power of that phone and what it did used to fill like a 5,000 square foot building at NASA. I mean, what that stupid thing can do. So we have unbelievable access to information at immediate. Like if I want to know an answer to a question, ask the question, get the answer, right? It's insanely fast how quickly I can get it. So I think it's actually more difficult now with this universe of instant gratification. We have fast food chains. If I'm hungry, I'm going to roll through a drive-through. I don't have to go home and cultivate the garden and do all those things. I think it's harder now. I think it's more challenging to install the discipline now in this era because of all of the ease of access we've created for ourselves. So, I mean, I think I really do. I feel that it's harder. I make the joke all the time. You're talking about the boys out there running 100-degree heat, doing 2.5 hours, and that. I used to do it all the time. When I played football, that was totally what it is. I cannot imagine in this moment myself doing that. Like that I'm just, bleh, I don't want anything to do with going out in the 100-degree heat and full pads and smacking each other around right now. Like I have no attraction to that whatsoever. Not because I don't think it'd be fun. I actually think it'd be a freaking ball, but because of how hot and hard it would be. So like from me being a whiner, like I'm going to roll it out there in this particular moment. That's what it is. Like it would be really difficult. And you talk about drive. I don't know that I could install that discipline to go outside right now, put on full pads and go hit dummies and go run, do any of that stuff. I don't think I would not be willing to do it. I could do it. Don't get me wrong. I would not be willing to do it. Like I'm going to find something else to do. Like right. I was up this morning at dark because it's 100 degrees today. So I'm outside doing everything I need to do outside before it hits 80, 85 degrees so that I can be done doing everything before it gets hot. Like, and I make the joke all the time. It's like, I used to be tougher. I used to be tougher, but I also think I didn't have the access to that easy gratification button when I was a kid. I mean, I'm pre cell phone. I am pre laptop. Really, we were the beginning. Like back when Mac was still green dots and like, everybody remembers the Oregon Trail game. That was the first video game. I was there for that. Like I'm pre that. So I had to entertain myself differently. So to go throw on pads and go, I used to ride my bike all summer long. I used to BMX all summer long, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, 100-degree heat. I'd be lucky if I drank a cup of water all day. And I'd just go out there and ride and jump and ride. And I never thought anything of it. Right now, I can't comprehend that. So I wonder, when you talk about installing the discipline and you've got to have the drive to do it. And I want to keep rolling on drive with that. But yeah, we probably ought to, speaking of drive.
Yeah. So drive yourself over to the guild. If you're down with what we're doing and you want a little bit closer look as to how to peek on the inside of what Jake and I have going on in our team and our community and some of the coaches and people we have and some of the insights and life hacks and some of this stuff. If you want a little deeper, just go to total-disruption.com, total-disruption.com, right here below me if you're watching this on TV or YouTube, click it. Or, look, DM us on the socials, man. We are on every social platform possible. Just find us, tune in, listen to us on a regular basis, like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Plug in, man. We are here to help you people with your life, with your stuff. Our mission is to basically shortcut everything for you so that when you decide to actually do the work, the time closes down from like 6 years to like 6 months, from 6 months to 6 weeks. You get my analogy. So we are here for you. Join the guild, check it out, come by, take a test drive. All right. So when we talk about discipline, right, and we talk about drive and we talk about the motivation, I couldn't agree more. You're right. There's a lot more distractions, a lot more noise in the brain. The body, the signal receptors. So physiologically in our body, the signal receptor machine starts to read the data. The data is like an old school CD. The CD gets a little bit of scratches and the reader doesn't read the CD as well, right? And that's kind of like life wears you out from the inside out. Those of us that get this understand how to capture the where and the when, meaning times when you're at your best energy, you're doing a certain kind of thing. Time when you're at your medium energy, you're doing a certain kind of thing. Time when you're at low energy, very chaotic, you're doing a certain kind of thing. and you're okay with whatever. But it just takes time to get there. It takes time to understand this. It takes time to realize, you can supplement, drug yourself, do whatever you have to do to try to find the fountain of youth. But as you hammer through life, I don't know anything that when sustainably used over decades does not wear out. I have not yet even stone. Water wears away stone. Uh, Water itself doesn't even stay water. It evaporates, it falls, it turns around, it gets hot, cold, salty, not salty. There is nothing. Even mountains take a beating. They change, they crumble, they fall, they stay there. Each year they shift. There's nothing that is used over the course of time that stays the same ever. And therefore, approaches, fundamentals stay the same, but approaches also change.
There you go.
What you say? I mean, look, the reason why I talked about this in the last episode, I'm looking at some of these people that are sort of figure people that are in the world with information. And some of these podcasts allow you to step back and let those people spin out what they're doing. And if it's the right kind of podcast, it's not super salesy. So you actually get information. You could hear those old school approaches.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, I agree with you completely. And I don't even want to say, old school or, but it's true. I would say original approaches. So one of them, like what we're talking a little bit about today, and I'll give you guys this, is calendaring and structuring your perfect day. Mike's talking about knowing when your energy levels are at a certain space during the day. Fundamentally, as a person, when you get out of bed in the morning, that is when your energy is at its highest. You are, by and large, right? There's going to be people that are like, I'm not a morning person. I get that.
I'm not.
But like Mike's not. Mike's a night owl. Like 2, 3 in the morning, he's high energy. I'm asleep. So, but like, let's use me as the example, right? I am a high functioning individual first thing in the morning, daylight. I am up at dawn. Do I wish I could sleep in? Sure. Can I? No. It is not in my DNA to do so. I am up dawn, pre-dawn, every day, doesn't matter. I've seen every sunrise in my life, and it's a gift. I've seen them all. Every single one of them in my lifetime, I've seen them. It's just how it is. But that's when I'm at my highest energy, is first thing in the morning. My energy depletes like a gas tank, right? I know this to be true, right? It's full tank first thing in the morning, and it's just going to start dropping all the way to the end of the day to where I'm just spun out. I'm on empty at that point. Now, a couple things I have to understand is, how do I switch into eco mode during the day to maintain some fuel and get some better economy? Well, it depends on what I eat, right? What am I putting in the tank? Am I putting, I'll go way back. Am I throwing freaking regular gas in there that just burns dirty and ugly? Or am I throwing 91 octane, no ethanol in there? What am I putting in the tank to burn more efficiently? So I got to think about, what am I ingesting? I also have to think mentally about, what am I ingesting? What podcasts am I listening to? What am I getting drug into on social media? What am I doing? But for me, the energy pieces and the motivation pieces, I have to do the hardest thing I'm going to do today first thing in the morning. If I don't do it first thing in the morning, there's a 90% chance it ain't getting done, because I'm going to blow it off. I'm going to go, no, I don't have the patience for that, tolerance. I just, whatever the issue is. So I've got to do the hard thing first thing in the day. If you're a salesperson, by and large, lead generation, making phone calls, is the thing you do at the beginning of the day. If you are a bodybuilder, you're building all day, but you got to pick it might be leg day. You might hate doing legs. You hear that joke all the time, everybody at the gym. That's the thing you need to do first, because you've got the most. I know, I love doing legs. Like, that's easy for me. My wife picks on me about that. But regardless. So you got, to Mike's point, like for me, I know what my day looks like. I know how I have to schedule it. I've got to do the heavy lifting and the hard stuff first. And then by the middle of the day, I can do some of the gravier stuff. And then by the end of the day, I don't take on projects that are going to require mental capacity. Like I can still do the physical activities. If it's a matter of go split firewood, I can do that. If it's, pick up heavy thing, move it to over there, I can do that. But my mental capacity, my mental tank is done by the end of the day. So I know I have to schedule it a certain way. I don't schedule coaching calls, high impact meetings, anything that's going to require me to show up as Dr. Jake Clendenning beyond about 2 in the afternoon. I just don't do it because I can't. I can't show up. At that point, I'm showing up like the third grader with ADHD that I used to be, because that's what's left at the end of the day. So yeah.
I see that. I take the same but different approach. So what I do is I script myself to be the character I need to be. So when I can do a 12-hour day, I visualize myself with the energy. I visualize what I have to do. I visualize targets. And when I hit those targets in the day and I hit that second boost, I go. And of course, there's always lion's mane, caffeine. I have warded off for the most part. I say this now, but I have warded off for the most part energy drinks. Now, I don't care what the research says. Sure, they're harmless. Sure, they're harmful. I don't care if they cause cancer. I don't give a crap what the research says. I don't want to have too much external stimulation to try to get over the fact of what I should be doing. Everything's a tool for the job. I'm not condemning anything. I'm not saying they're bad for you. All I'm saying is I'm trying to ward off the energy drinks, right? I said, I'm done with this for a little while. Because, when I was down with the COVID-related stuff, I needed to kind of get a boost because I had this chronic fatigue for forever. And you're talking about a guy that, was my old email address used to be up247 at AOL.com. I mean, it was literally, was not even a getting older thing, right? It was just a literal night and day trigger. So I visualize, I script how I'm going to do it. And then it could be 2, 3, 4. I hit the gas, burst, do it, and then go. I will say the problem with that is I don't live in a bubble. I've got a lot of responsibilities outside of myself. Sometimes that formula sucks when you have a family. Like, I'm going to say that doesn't work for everybody because unless you live in a vacuum, like I have been accused of being the most self-centered human being on the planet, and it's not for any reason, but the main reason is that's my ramp-up process. I'm ready to kick ass. Shit, I got to take a kid here. Or damn it, today, my windshield, the third time in a row, had to get fixed again.
Oh, God, not again.
Now, finally, I called him. I said, you got to come over to me. First attempt, not my normal spot. Like how I have a normal windshield spot, first of all. Second of all, I drive a lot, so cracks happen. We went fishing. I took the kids fishing, pull into this thing, and I have this half moon shaped crack from the center of the passenger side arcing to the rear view mirror. And even my son was like, what happened there? I said, I had no idea. It wasn't there when we pulled in. So take it over to this place. I'm not going to name names. Cracked the windshield coming in. Like, great, thanks. Appreciate that. They put a new one in and cracked it as they were placing it. Had to go back. Finally, I said, went back. Then I had to go back again and get the windshield wiper adjusted as it came down the road. Then all of a sudden, at 40 miles an hour, I hear whistle at 40 miles an hour. I called them up yesterday. I said, listen, you got to get over to my house. I am not moving. You come figure this thing out. The third time in a row. But anyway, I had to plan my whole day around this, right?
Yeah.
I had to plan my whole day around it. It was nonsense. Like, enough with this. Talk about triggers, right? But what I'm trying to say is I could have had my most motivating moments and the guy's going, ding dong, hey, I got to handle this guy for a second. Now, allegedly it's fixed. I haven't test drove it yet. But at the same time, that thought process that I go through doesn't always work well. So I feel like the most successful formula, and I'll be honest with you, there's a guy, Craig Ballantyne. He's got the perfect day formula. Craig Ballantyne made that perfect day formula. He wasn't a parent yet. I would be hard pressed to see, he's like, I'm in bed by 9 o'clock. I'm like, of course you are, dude. You're a single, you're a married
Yep.
guy with no
He's
kids
up at 4:30. Yeah,
at 50. Like, what are you talking about? You're in bed by 9. You get this blissful sleep and you have all this crap. I'm like, unless you have help, like he's not full of it. But like, dude, like it's important that you say, I'm not a parent. Now he's a parent. I would be interested to see how he tweaks the perfect day for him.
See, now there's parts in the perfect day that are still applicable. Now you take the
it's great.
If you take the formula as a whole, it's awesome as a single guy. I agree. It doesn't even work if you're married. Like, it doesn't work. But there's certain things that are great in there. Like, before you get out of bed, before your feet hit the floor, 5 affirmations. When your feet hit the floor, glass of water that you set out the night before to balance your pH. There's some chemical things you can do. And like, then your day goes to hell right after the thing of water. But you can get all the way to the end of the night. Like, one of the things I love, and I coach on this all the time, is lay your clothes out the night before for the next day, and then get your glass of water, set it on the nightstand. Like, do those couple things so that your day, you become your best assistant at that point. Now, does that take discipline? We've talked about that before. Yes, it does. But that's where, here's another thing. Instead of just surfing cat videos or whatever kind of videos you're searching on that thing, there's a calendar function with notifications. So lay your clothes out. Let it be your mom. Let it tell you what to do. Like, lay your clothes out for tomorrow. Do your laundry. Let it be. Remember when your mom used to tell you that? My mom used to tell me, lay your clothes out tonight for tomorrow. What are you going to wear tomorrow? She used to ask me that. Used to drive me crazy as a little kid. Absolutely hated it. But what a gift that was. What a gift that can be, because you don't have to think about it. There's I'll leave you with this. This will be my last thought on this one. So the guy I know that's a billionaire, one of the most successful people in real estate, period, hands down, don't care. His name's Gary. He has one color of clothing. He has one style of t-shirt, one style of pants, one style of shoes. He has made the conscious effort to not be creative in his wardrobe. It works for him, right? But he has made the conscious effort to not be creative in his wardrobe, so he doesn't even have to think about it. All he has to do is get up and put on socks, pants, shirt, down the road we go. It's the same exact thing every single day. He doesn't have to stand in the closet and go, what do I look good in today? You got to think about it, because that requires energy, and he just doesn't like to burn it that way. So what can you leverage? What can you get help with? What can you eliminate? What can you schedule in your universe? What discipline can you install today that would make a difference, that would make an impact?
Man. Well, Jake, that was an awesome episode. I'll leave you guys with that. I'm Mike Libercci for Jake Clendenning, Dr. Jake Clendenning. Now it's your turn to disrupt. We'll see you next time, everybody.